I think Netplay is where the future is at for a game like this. Like I've always said, the reason why Street Fighter and fighting games in general aren't widely, accepted, like games like League of Legends and all that, is because it's not made for Netplay. It's way too. You have to be very accurate with everything. And so I've always said, if they made a fighting game based around Netplay, giving someone leniency of inputs and where they can actually do what they want to do, that'll be a big deal. And they're actually doing that. It's actually crazy to think about. Like we're gonna be able to just hop online and play games and not feel like we're playing a different game. Like in Street Fighter 4 and Marvel, in America at least, where everyone lives so far apart, you play a Marvel match and you're like, this is not even really Marvel, but you're just playing it and you're just whatever. Right. But in Street Fighter 5, even in the beta when I was playing, I was like, oh, this is pretty legit. Like, I feel like I'm playing Street Fighter and what I want to do is coming out. So I really think that's where the future lies. And hopefully, that just brings in a wider, massive, audience for the game.
I definitely agree with your sentiment there, but it obviously we'll see whether the implementation of that actually does work. But I definitely agree with what you're saying in sense of the limitation of fighting games in general reaching a wider audience are the fact that the online environment is never going to replicate the lagless offline environment. So the only way to do that Capcom have decided is to input this input leniency. So we'll see whether that does definitely lead to that. There's some weird sort of instances though. You get sort of like if you're used to doing. They found some interesting solutions as well. So I'm just thinking in my head. If you're used to doing like late DPs, for example, to get the most out of the invincibility, there's instances I've had when I've tried to do like late DPs, just force of habit, and like the game feels a bit laggy, and I've actually been hit. But the invincibility on a lot of DPs is so much that you can afford to do them earlier. Like you can DP jump-ins with like medium DP and not worry about trades. Really, I mean, it's still possible, but there's way less trades on DPs than there are in Street Fighter 4.
No, yeah, for sure.
So that's an interesting workaround, like you don't have to wait and just get that last minute DP. You can do it kind of early. So it's for a lot of things.
Kind of makes me sad in a way, but
it's just a different game. You know what I mean? Like it's
for the price of online play. It's
yeah. But it is really where the future's at. Like we can't really argue. It is, even I know you said earlier about Japanese arcades, but even Japan arcades are closing. They are closing. Yeah. So and arcades are really a thing of the past in Europe. We've got like 2, I think, in London, which is ridiculous. The rest are sort of like offline console sort of locations. The event that I started up was at a LAN cafe. That was like 5 years ago. And we've got Heart of Gaming, which has sort of like old school arcade cabinets, but all the new school stuff is all being played on console. So it's very much a thing of if you can normalize that experience between offline console and online console, then you kind of make that sort of that ladder environment that you have of League of Legends and Counter-Strike and Dota and all that sort of stuff. That's legit. Like that ladder environment is legit. Whereas like if you're number 1 ranked online Gen or something, do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean you can talk to any of the top tournament players because it's like you said, it's a different game. But it'd be interesting to see whether the top online competitors can translate into offline competition. And if they're playing what is effectively the same game due to this input leniency, then that would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I was an online monster in 4. All I did was play online in 4. Then Evo, I got top 5 doing cross-up Tatsu. Sweet. Yeah, online is legit. I think we're gonna be surprised at the talent that comes out of these online monsters.
I just want to see more players because for me, like the bigger the pool that we're taking from, the better everyone's going to get. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
there's definitely some world champions out there that have never even touched a fighting game. You know, it's the same with any competitive endeavor, whether it's a sport or a video game or whatever it is, collectible cards, anything. You know, if you increase the player size, the player base, the overall quality of everyone's going to go up. As more and more.
I'll easily give up like me being good at Street Fighter Five or even me enjoying the game if it brings more players for like future Street Fighter titles. It's like the number one most important thing. Like we've been playing with the same people for like years. Like
that was the great thing that Street Fighter 4 did. You know, I wouldn't be talking to you now if it wasn't for Street Fighter 4. A lot of the guys that I work with, are only here because of Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 brought so many new players to the game and then to the community that hopefully Street Fighter 5 does that to an even bigger level. I'm kind of worried about 50% of console owners not being able to play the game at all, but obviously that's a financial. Well, like anyone that owns an Xbox One but doesn't own a PS4, they can't play the game. So, but will you be able to play it through like Windows 10? Because it's kind of a PC,
right? PC version, right?
Yeah, PC and PS4.
So can you play like, I don't know, that'd be interesting. But yeah,
it's cross-platform also, which is
so you have like if you can play the game, you can play anyone that's got the game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you have a definitive leaderboard, you have a definitive online ranking and all that sort of stuff. That's cool. That would be weird though. The one big problem that I found with a lot of the PC versions of Street Fighter games are people playing with their settings off or like variable stuff like that, so that they're basically playing a laggy version of the game. So it'd be interesting to see how they deal with that. Like, I don't want to be playing on my PS4 and it's running smoothly, and then someone else has got like VSync on and it's running at settings that are too high for their PC to handle, and they're lagging out and what have you. That's irritating as shit. So hopefully they thought
I'm curious how that's going to work at all. Like in my mind, it doesn't. It's like a really difficult thing to solve, but since they obviously already announced that that's going to happen, they probably have a good handle on this issue.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Yeah, I'll try the PC version first, and if the PC version is just not good, and assuming I really like the game, then I'll just check out more money to get a PS4, I guess.
You don't have a PS4?
Nope.
Filthy casual player, man.
I don't have a PS4 either.
What?